How to be a great leader at work. I've worked with hundreds, taught people, gone from entrepreneurial to billion-dollar market caps. I'm going to give you 5 specific steps. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, to our partners, the world changes. All right, so the fact that you're even considering what is it takes to be a great leader at work, right on, good for you. This means that you have an awareness and a desire to get better. That's one of the main things actually, is to start with. Understanding that we can always get better. Think of it like Kung Fu. Leadership is like Kung Fu. No matter what, you are never an expert. You may eventually become a master, but you will never know everything there is to know about it. But the 5 primary steps that I look at when I am coaching and I'm helping people define this, the number 1 is for people to figure out what is the crystal clear vision of where we're going. So many organizations out there don't really have a clear vision of where they're going, or they kind of do in the leader's head, or maybe it's kind of out there and it's kind of a general direction, but it's not crystal clear. They're not sure. And the thing is people follow people, but they also follow movements, they follow purpose. And if you're trying to attract younger, high-powered talent, making sure that you're crystal clear in where the vision is and keep it as simple as you can. Simple and clear, this is where we're going. This is what we want to do. That's the number 1 thing. The second thing is making sure that you build an amazing team. And when I talk about amazing team, Jim Collins, right people, right seats on the bus. The right people are people who share your values, who are in lockstep with who you are. Now, if you have great people, but they don't necessarily share your values, unfortunately, those are the people who are potentially going to become terrorists in your life. Those are the people who may be great at what they do, but they don't share your values, and they'll actually work through your organization like a cancer. They'll spread rumor, they'll talk about things as soon as meetings are over, they'll be negative. They aren't really all in. So finding the right people is the first step. The second is making sure that they're in the right seat, and that comprises 2 pieces. One is for the leader and the leadership team to create the ideal structure so that people are crystal clear on what they're accountable for and how they're contributing to that success. Then the second is finding people not who are good at it, not who, we could get somebody there. And that's what I see a lot from an evolution. Oh yeah, we put Steve in there because, well, Steve's really smart and he'll figure it out. Okay, that's fine, and we can work that way, but it's going to slow you down. If you want to move really fast, go out and find the best person on the planet who shares your values, but understands that seat so well that they know it better than anybody else. And they're going to come in and they're going to challenge and push and say, no, we want to move fast. This is how we do it. Somebody who's done it 10 times before. So we're not on that learning curve at the same time, but somebody who jumps us ahead. Sometimes this costs us more in initial in expenses for payroll or whatever. But if it can help accelerate the business, I'm going to encourage you to think about, is it worth making that investment in the right person a little bit higher that's going to accelerate our growth? The third thing, and this is silly, but it is so critical for a leadership team. If you really want to be a great leader at work, remember that the entire organization, the energy of the organization can come from you. And what I mean by that is if you come in and you're like manic and scattered and all over the place and worried and freaking out and you're jumping around and all this and this and this, if you have a quality leadership team, they won't even realize it, but they'll start to adopt your energy. And then they'll roll that down into other places. Working with a group, a university, and I'm seeing this exact thing right now, and it's driving me nuts because the senior leaders are not being zen. Now, I'm not saying that you just let everything roll off your back. You still hold people ruthlessly and compassionately accountable. You still deal with the challenges because you're going to have stuff get thrown at you all the time. But you are cool hand Luke, baby. You are not going to blow your cool. You're the person when the world explodes, you're like, okay, you take a breath and say, that blows. All right, how are we going to handle it? Walk in, but own that and have that swagger. Because when you have that energy, people are going to look at you. A really silly example is if you've ever gone for a walk with a 2-year-old and she's walking along behind you and she trips and falls on the sidewalk. Almost always that 2-year-old is going to look at you immediately and they're going to see, are you freaking out or are you chill? And if you're like, that kid just explodes into tears. But if you're like, hey, honey, you all right? Good, brush it off. Come on, let's go. They're good. I wish it was more complex than that, but it isn't. As a senior leader, if you can do that really, really well, that's going to set the tone for the entire organization. So our first is vision. Second is making sure that you build the right team of people who share your values and they're absolute badasses in their seat. The third is that you come in and that you live that, you're Zen. You're cool hand Luke. You're problem solving, you're there, you're present, you're holding people accountable, but you don't lose your cool. And then lastly is be accountable. Own it. You've got to model the behaviors you're looking for from your team. You want to be a great leader, model those behaviors. It means you show up early or on time for every meeting. It means if you say you're going to do it, tell them when you're going to get it done by, and damn it, no matter what, hell or high water, you get it done. Because what's so important with that, even if the task was small, it's saying this is what I expect, and I expect it even of myself. But be accountable and hold everybody else accountable. To be a great leader is to be compassionate and hold people accountable. If you don't, if it's like, yeah, I'm going to hold you accountable, but maybe not tomorrow, or maybe not in 3 days. Well, unfortunately, some people are going to take advantage of that. And until you finally blow, and they're like, well, what happened? What's wrong with it? It's like, well, you've been doing this off and on. But realistically, that's where you own it. So be accountable for you, but then empower your team of the right people in the right seats to know that vision, know where they're going, make sure that they own it cold and that they're great at it, and let them own it. If it's a little bit different than you would, that's okay. They're accountable for it. If it goes off the rails, fair enough, let them go off the rails, but then help them get back on track. But when you go through and you make sure that everybody has that clear vision, that you have incredible badasses that are the right people in the right seats, that you're staying zen in a consistent way, you're empowering others to be the best that they can be, and you're holding everybody consistently accountable, the world is your oyster. Anything happens. That is what makes for a great leader at work. Keep smiling.